Quick question. When the internet goes down, do you panic? Or do you just shrug and think, hey, we'll figure it out? If it's the second one, chances are you grew up in the 90s. And if you did, you're not just nostalgic. You're part of something rare. People who grew up in the 90s are often called the bridge generation. And that name fits perfectly. You grew up playing outside, drinking from garden hoses, and memorizing phone numbers. But you also watched the world go digital in real time. Your childhood was analog. Your teenage years went online. And that timing quietly shaped your psychology in powerful ways. Growing up in the 90s meant freedom with responsibility. You left the house without a phone, no tracking, no constant check-ins. If something went wrong, you figured it out. If you got bored, you solved it. If you wanted to see a friend, you showed up at their door and hoped they were home. Psychologically, this built self-reliance early. Your brain learned, I can handle uncertainty. And that belief sticks. Even today, many 90s kids don't freeze when plans change or systems fail. They adapt, they improvise. Because deep down, they trust themselves to figure things out without instructions. Here's something younger generations will never fully experience. Moments in the 90s weren't documented. They were lived. You couldn't rewind real life. You couldn't record everything. If your favorite show came on and you missed it, too bad. If something funny happened, it lived only in memory. That trained your brain in presence. When you were somewhere, you were actually there. Not half present. Not multitasking. Just there. That's why many people who grew up in the 90s can sit quietly without anxiety. Silence doesn't scare them. Stillness doesn't feel empty. Their nervous systems were shaped in a slower world, and they still carry that calm inside them. In the 90s, nothing was instant. You waited for songs on the radio, finger hovering over the record button, praying the DJ wouldn't talk. You waited weeks for new episodes. You saved allowance money for months to buy one CD, and then listened to it on repeat. This built something powerful: patience. Psychologically, delayed gratification strengthens emotional regulation and impulse control. Your brain learned that good things take time, and that waiting makes rewards feel richer. That's why instant gratification today often feels hollow to 90s kids. You were wired for effort, anticipation, and meaning, not one-click dopamine hits. Here's where things get really interesting. You didn't just adapt to technology, you watched it take over. You remember calling house phones and talking to parents first, passing handwritten notes, life before social media. And then suddenly, texts, instant messaging, online identities, and constant connection. That experience created psychological duality. You can appreciate the simplicity of the past and the convenience of the present. You value privacy, but you understand sharing. You crave real connection, but you're fluent in digital communication. You don't fully belong to either world, and that's your strength. You're balanced in a time of extremes. The 90s didn't give you dramatic hardships. It gave you constant small ones. Using physical maps, fixing things yourself, navigating boredom, solving problems without tutorials, recording songs perfectly, finding information the hard way. Those tiny struggles built resilience. Psychologically, repeated low-level challenges teach your brain persistence and creativity. You learned how to tolerate frustration without collapsing. And that's why today, when things break or plans fall apart, you don't immediately shut down. You adjust, you try again. You remember, I've handled worse. This is why people who grew up in the 90s often feel different. They're tech-savvy but not addicted, nostalgic but not stuck, independent yet emotionally grounded. They remember when life moved slower, and somehow they've kept that rhythm inside them, even as the world speeds up. They don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. They don't need everything documented to feel real. And that's rare. If you grew up in the 90s, understand this. You are not behind. You are not outdated. You are adaptable. You were shaped by two worlds and learned how to stand comfortably in both. You carry patience in an age of impatience, presence in a distracted world, and resilience in a fragile one. You are the bridge generation. And bridges don't just connect the past and future. They hold everything together. If this felt personal, you're not alone. And if you want more psychology that explains why you are the way you are, you already know what to do.